Do you feel like you're spending more money than you're taking home? Like you're actually losing money while driving over the road? If you understand which factors have the biggest impact on your earning potential, your bank account will thank you. Thanks for joining for another episode of the Truck Driving Channel. Today, our expert is Blake. He's been working in fleet operations for over 10 years and crunches numbers on a regular basis to help drivers like you determine their maximum earning potential. In this video, Blake will cover his top 9 tips to help you save money and maximize your income.
Hi, my name is Blake Hegberg. I have been in fleet operations over the last 10 years. I primarily work with independent contractors, and one of the main questions that I do get is, how can I make more money? So first, I'd like to talk to you guys and gals about budgeting. Budgeting for your truck is no different than you would for your household expenses. You're running a business. You need to know where every penny is going. One of the first things I ask my contractors is, what is your operating cost? Generally, what I've seen from operating costs, depending on the time of year, is anywhere between $95 to $1.20 per mile. Once you know your operating cost, you have a baseline and you know what type of loads you can or cannot haul to be successful. So keep in mind, every mile that you drive, loaded or not, you have a fixed cost. You're paying for your fuel, you're paying into your maintenance account, you have to look at opportunity cost, whether you're loaded or not loaded, and don't forget about your taxes. The second thing I'd like to talk to you guys about is safety. Some of these things might be obvious to you, but it might not be obvious to the newer driver coming into the industry. Anytime that you are not on top of your game with safety, it could potentially cause unneeded downtime. For example, you don't get out and look and you hit a post at a shipper. That might seem minor to you, but depending on if you're bobtail or not, you bent your DOT bumper, you ripped off your mud flap, you lose half a day waiting at a truck stop. If you're basing today's market off of generating $10.50 a day in revenue, you lost half of that sitting at a truck stop. One of these trends we have been seeing in the market is these little fender benders, getting hit at a truck stop, backing your truck, side swiping the front of your truck onto a fixed object. Right? Seems like a minor accident. In these market conditions, parts are nowhere to be found. So something that may be a DOT violation that would take you out of service, that we could get you back in service in a day or two, you might be down for 1 or 2 weeks waiting for that part. And at $10.50 a day of opportunity cost, you're missing out on a lot of revenue. The third thing I'd like to discuss is your trip planning. Going back to budgeting, we talked about every mile has a cost. If you're not trip planning, you're wasting miles. You're wasting fuel, you're paying into expenses that are unneeded. You're constantly on a time clock. All day long, you're watching that time clock click down. When you waste your hours, you're wasting your opportunity to generate revenue. Limiting deadhead miles, out of route miles, and quite frankly, planning where you're going to shut down for the night to alleviate stress of hopping around, being able to find a truck stop, is going to save you money. The fourth thing I'd like to talk to you guys about is your fuel consumption. One of your biggest controllable costs. Depending on the market, your fuel can range from anywhere between 20 cents a mile to 65 cents a mile, which is huge. That's why here at ATS we always preach 2 to 3 below the flow, and that's not just for safety, that is also to save you money in fuel consumption. You're not always trying to keep up with the vehicle in front of you. Another thing is reduce your idle time. It gets very hot in the summers, and I know it's tough to not have your truck always idling, to have the AC going, but if you do have an APU, take advantage of your APU. In the wintertime, to avoid idling your truck, use your bunk heater. If you have questions about your bunk heater, get with your local shop and they can show you the functionality of the features. The fifth thing I'd like to talk to you guys about is maintaining your truck. And that is anything between limiting your idle time to keeping up with your preventative maintenance. Plan your downtime as much as you can, to avoid these extended breakdowns over the road, which your most expensive breakdowns are gonna be over the road because those shops know that you're not in a position to bargain with them. Another thing would be to stick with your warranty guidelines. I had a driver recently break down. He was told to multiple different shop locations. By the time that they were able to repair his unit, he was looking at over $5,000 out of pocket in expenses to get his tractor repaired. But because that driver was idling so little, he was idling at 15% of the time, which was another 10% under the threshold for warranty. That fell under the manufacturer's warranty. He was able to pay his $1,000 deductible and get right back out on the road. The sixth thing I'd like to talk about is restrictions. The more restrictions you have on the freight you're willing to haul or not haul, the harder it is to get your tractor moved. Whether that be a weight restriction, certain customer restriction, or certain areas. The drivers that are willing to bend and be flexible into the areas that they're going and the freight that they're hauling have more opportunity to be successful. The seventh thing I'd like to talk about is cutting down on food costs, which would be your meal prepping. I know meal prepping is sometimes a pain in the butt. But the inverters that are in these tractors these days, you can run anything from a air fryer, Instapot, crock pot, rice cookers, heating plates, the list goes on and on. You guys have opportunity to buy some foods in bulk, to meal prep throughout the week. That way you're avoiding paying the convenience fee of eating at a truck stop, having that $15 burger and Coke at the Petro or TA. That's where you can cut your costs when it comes to food. The eighth thing would be stay in your truck. There's a reason that you have a sleeper cab on the back of that. I know staying at a hotel is nice and it's a luxury at times and it's well deserved. You guys and gals are out on the road making sacrifices and not a lot of people know what it's like to have that little bit of space. But the more you can stay in your truck and not at a hotel, the more money you're going to put in your pocket. And the last tip I have for you would be to stay out on the road long enough to get into your company's freight lanes. Whether that be 1 week, 2 week, or 3 week market. The longer that you're out there and able to get into those freight networks, the better opportunity you have of making money. To go along with that, the old saying, make hay while the sun shines. Right? When the market conditions are good, it's easier to stay out longer. When market conditions are bad, it's easier to go to the house. Especially as a contractor, your fixed expenses never stop. So you can go home for a day, you can go home for a week, you can guarantee your truck payment's gonna be there on Monday. So just make sure that you are always budgeting for your home time.
So, can you make money truck driving? The answer is absolutely. You just need to keep in mind how you're handling your funds and how often your truck is sitting still. After going through these tips, it may seem like there's a lot to worry about. But with a little effort and planning, it'll become second nature to you. If you're still struggling to make good pay while on the road, get in touch with your fleet manager. They can help advise you in the areas you're having trouble with. For more information on how to be a successful truck driver, take a look at the Resource Center on our website. The link will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of the Truck Driving Channel. We make videos like this every week. If you found this to be helpful, give the video a like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out on the road.